Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. So in this video, we are going to discuss Leetcode problem of the day, and today's problem is maximum product of two elements in an array, right? And it is an easy level problem. So the problem is fairly straightforward. It says that we have been given an array of integer nums and we have to select two different indices I and j such that this value is maximized, right? So nums of I minus 1 into nums of j minus 1 should be the maximum, and we just have to return this maximum value possible. Now, the very first thing is the values are always positive, right? It is greater than 0. That means one thing is for sure, to ensure that the sum is maximum, both of the values should be maximum, right? So, if the values are all positive, we can just take the biggest two values. This is our first observation. But what are the ways of taking the biggest two values? One way is that you can sort the whole vector and take the last two values. That is one possible way. But in this video, I want to discuss a slightly different method, that is an O of n method, that will help you to get the answer without even sorting it, right? So first observation is that to produce the answer, we need to take biggest two values, right? Now we need the biggest and the second biggest value, so let me just denote it by first and second, right? This is the variables that I have used in my code. So first will be the maximum value and second will be the second maximum value. Now let's say what happens in a case, let's say current value is greater than first. So if current value is greater than first, what happens in this particular case? You will realize that my first value should get updated, right? That means if I have found a value that is greater than my biggest value, then my first value needs to update. So my first value will become current. But what about the second biggest value, right? So second variable that I have was initially smaller than first, right? And I have encountered a new value that is even greater than first, right? So what I did, I assigned this value to first, but there is one more thing as well that I need to do, that I'll assign this value to second, right? Because the value which was the greatest of them all earlier now becomes the second greatest. Why? Because I found a new greatest value, right? So basically, before setting first as current, you also need to set your second value as first, right? So this way you can update the biggest and the second biggest value. But if the current value is not greater than the first value, it can still be the case that the current value is greater than the second value, right? It is very well possible. So what do I do in this particular case? I can just directly update the second value as current, right? So it should be current, right? So you see, this is how you can maintain the biggest and the second biggest value. This is very easy, but sometimes this is not very straightforward. That comes to our mind, right? So basically what I am doing is, as soon as I encounter a new greater value which is bigger than the biggest value that I have encountered till now, I have to do two things. First, I'll mark my second biggest value as my current biggest value, and then I update my biggest value as the new value that I have encountered. But if this is not the case, it can still be the very well case that the current value is greater than the second biggest value. In that particular case, I can update the second biggest value. So you could have also done sorting, that would have taken n log n time, and you could have just taken the last two elements. But this particular approach will work in O of n, and it's a slightly better approach. So that is why I have discussed this. So you can see this is exactly what I have done in my code. I have initialized my first and second with 0. If I is greater than first, I update my second with first and first with I. If I is greater than second, I have just update my second value. Now at the end, I can just return first minus 1 into second minus 1, and this would be my final solution. So let me just quickly submit this and show you that this particular code works. So you see, it passes all the test cases and the solution is absolutely correct. I hope that you guys were able to understand the solution. If you guys did, then consider dropping a like on this video, and don't forget to share thoughts in the comments, because your engagement with this particular video really helps the YouTube algorithm to understand that this video is actually helpful for you, and it will be able to reach much more people like you who want to keep solving new problems. So that is it for today. Till the next video talks, keep coding, stay safe, bye bye.